on Facebook. Good afternoon, everybody. Hello, I am Sarah from Start Studio, and this is Isla, and we today are going live with our art class. I hope you're all okay. I'll run through the resources in a minute, but we just wanted to say hi and have a little chat before we start, so that if there's anything you're missing, you can go get it. So I hope you've had a good week. The snow here has been awesome.
Yeah,
We've had lots of fun in the snow. I hope you have too.
We made a snow cat.
We made a snow cat in the garden yesterday, which was lots of fun. And so we've been doing some sculpting, keeping it arty. And yeah, we've just been enjoying the snow and homeschooling and all those things this week. I hope you've had a really good week, and thank you very much for joining us. So today we're going to, it's a really fun, it's a bit of process art. We're going to do some watercolour techniques today, but it's nothing difficult. It's just a nice light-hearted one today. We're going to create a big heart. I'm using A3 paper today just so that you can see it. Isla's on A4, and because we're using watercolours, we are going to use thick paper. So either some card would be good, or something that's a little bit thicker than just normal paper, because otherwise it crinkles as you put on the water. And we're just going to have fun. So the resources you need today are Isla's favourite,
Pastels.
oil pastels. She loves oil pastels. So we're going to be using just the black oil pastel. If you don't have a black oil pastel, you could use any colour, but the stained glass effect that we're trying to create, dun, 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 like this, uses black, but it really doesn't matter. And then what we're going to try and do is use our watercolour to fill all the spaces. We've got two different warm tones here, so try and stick to two colours in your background, and then two different colours for your heart. So they've gone for blue and red, which then kind of bleed together as watercolour to make purple, which is nice.
And there's a bit of pink.
There is a little bit of pink in there too, but that's from the red. So we're going to have a go at this. It will make a really nice art piece. You could put, once it's all done and it's dry, you could turn it over and write it to somebody and send them your love and show people you care. You could even do it again at another point in time and do littler ones, and then put it on cards and things, because you can cut it out, or you can just have fun. So today is a really fun, relaxed, chilled art live with me and Isla. Oh, and Isla wanted to share something with you before we get started.
I had a tooth fell out, and I got £2 from the tooth fairy, and I forgot to bring them, the £2 here.
But you've got a big gap.
But I've got a big gap at the bottom.
She's toothless.
Toothless, if you always call me.
So this is what you need. You need your black oil pastel or a Sharpie or something waterproof. You need watercolour paints. You need a paintbrush, a water pot. Now I am going to start with a pencil and a ruler, but you don't need to do this today. You can if you want. So if you want to run off and grab yourself a pencil and a ruler, you can, but you don't need to. The reason I'm using it is just because I want my heart to be quite symmetrical, so that I don't have a big bit on one side and then a little bit on the other. But if you think you can draw quite a nice big heart shape without a ruler and a pencil, then that's absolutely fine. I don't think I can, so I'm going to use these today. But just to start us off, and then that's it really. It's as long as you've got some nice thick paper. I've masking taped my paper just with, you know, DIY masking tape, so that it stops the water from, stops the paper from puckering up or lifting. Isla's gone all the way around hers on the table, which I can't show you, but she's done that. So it just helps the paper to stay flat. It will still lift a little bit, but it'll help it stay flat. Okay.
White edges, so if you go over sellotape, it doesn't matter, does it? It show up on the.
Creates a really nice border too.
So it looks like canvas.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's get started. Let's get our art live started. So we've got our ruler. Now all I'm going to do with this ruler is just use it as a guideline. So I'm going to put it approximately halfway down my paper, and draw a nice light vertical line. I'm not pressing too hard, and in fact you will not be able to see this on the camera. It is just there for me as a guide so that I know that's where I'm working towards. Do you want to do the same, Isla? Keep it nice and straight, nice and light pencil. Tickle the paper. Let's see who's here while we get Isla's line nice and straight. Matilda and Lyra, hiya. No, that's fine. Hello. And we've got Mabel's watching. Hello. Who else have we got today? Aria. Immel Barton, hello.
Hello, Aria.
Hello. And Christine's back. Nice to see you again, Christine. Another week gone. And Lucas and you too at Browick. Nice to see you again. I loved seeing your work the other week. Thank you very much for sharing, and thank you everyone for sharing, because we do love seeing it, don't we? We get very excited, like, oh, look at this one. And who else is here? Callie and Eliza. Hello again. Hope you're okay, girls. And Lily and Freya in Mulbarton. Hello. And finally, oh, Beth, my friend Beth. You joining in the fun today. Hi, Beth. Nice to see you. Hope you're well. So we have drawn a line really faintly. As I say, you won't be able to see it. It's very, very faint with my pencil, but it's not a necessity, because if you haven't got that, we're going to go straight for our oil pastel. Now, the reason we're using oil pastel for this today is because it repels the watercolour. So wherever we put the oil pastel, the watercolour will not go anywhere near it. Okay, so it's brilliant. So you can like paint over it and stuff, and then it repels. It's a bit like wax. The oil in it gets rid of the water. You could use, if you fancy experimenting today, rather than using this, you could do a invisible painting with a white oil pastel. So you draw it out, and obviously it's quite hard to see, but then if you run your watercolor over it, your heart will be there, because it will the paint will repel. So have a little play. It's just a fun one today. See if you can create lots of them. You could go little and tiny ones, or you could do big ones like me. So using this, my center line, I'm going to start my heart. Now, we all know how to draw hearts. You can do it in whatever way you like. I'm going to do a nice big one this side, going round like this, all the way to the bottom point. And then it looks like an ear.
Oh, yeah.
And then we're going to do, trying to keep the same height and joining it at the point at the bottom, and trying to get it so that it's the same distance wide, but it doesn't matter. Just give it a go. Which way do I need to go? That way. So I'm going to go out like that and all the way around to the bottom. There's my big heart. Oh, lovely. Then, to make it a stained glass effect, we're going to start to divide this all up. So we can divide our background up into lines. Ooh, didn't really want to do that, but never mind. We can divide our background up into lines like this, coming off to give this nice stained glass effect. And all the way down here. I'm going to draw a straight line down the bottom, and then I'm going to go the same on the other side. We're just splitting our heart up. As I say, it's really fun, it's really easy today, and it's quite a quick one. I don't think it would take you too long to do. So there we go, just lots of lines, dividing it all up.
I've done different lines.
You've done lots of lines.
I was going to do like a heart of, like when you see the background, it's all colourful.
That sounds nice. I like that idea. So once you've done your background lines and you've divided it all up, oh, it's happened to you. Our pastels keep breaking. We're then going to divide the middle of the heart up as well. So we're going to create the stained glass effect, as if each part of the heart, each colour is in sections made out of glass. So I'm going to start with a kind of triangle shape in the centre of my heart here, going that way and going that way. I might even put a line in there. And then I'm going to add some diagonal lines like this. Put another one if you want to. Isla's done quite a few lines. It's up to you. Try and keep the symmetry if you can, but it doesn't matter. Oh, I just poked you with my bun. And then we're going to do what? I might do a little kind of diamond shape. But just have fun with it. Just divide it up into sections. You'll see whether it works or not when you come to painting. And I've got some triangles going here. Ta-da! So, nice. So that's our outline. You get really dirty doing it that way. You can also use a waterproof pen like a Sharpie, or we have some fine liners that are waterproof. That'll work as well, but oil pastels are quite fast, aren't they?
Wax crayon?
Wax crayons definitely work.
I feel like a little mountain.
That's nice, well done. So now that we've split our heart into all these glass sections, grab your paintbrush, and this is the fun bit. The fun bit. Now it's very hard. I was having a little bit of a panic this morning because watercolour and vertical painting don't always mix very well. But we'll just have to see how it goes. So what we're going to do is we're going to do some watercolour techniques where the colours bleed into each other. Now to do that, you need to use quite a bit of water. For example, let me just give you a little bit of a do's and don'ts. So I've got water dipped in on my brush. So I've dipped my paintbrush into my water. I circle away at my palette in red, say. Now, if I apply this, I get a really nice deep colour of watercolour. Okay. Now, what I see a lot of people do wrong with watercolour is they don't use enough water on their brush. So they end up having it quite dry.
Sometimes I do that.
Yeah. And it is a technique to have a dry brush and use it for effect, but when we're trying to do blocks of colour, so I haven't used a lot of water on my brush, I've just scrubbed away, and then what happens is you get this very dry, scratchy
or sometimes because
mark.
we haven't used.
Do you see? So there's with lots of water, and there's when the paintbrush is a little bit dry. So what you need to do
Have a bigger
is
brush.
kind of make a nice puddle. Yeah, well, no, it's not about the size of the brush.
You can also need sometimes a bigger brush as well.
A bigger brush will help with the water quantity. So get a nice dripping wet brush, not lots of water, and make a puddle of paint. So it should be, don't worry if it overflows because you can clean it up. It's really easy to do. But you want to make yourself a nice little puddle of paint in your palette here. Or if you've got the lid or a plate, you can add water to this. You want a little puddle of water, and then you can add your paint into that to mix colours. Now, if you add more water to your watercolour paint, the colour is going to be weaker. We call this value when it comes to art, the value of the colour, and it means it's going to be really watery and light. And if we add more paint, we're going to get a really deep puddle of colour. Okay, we want to go really bright today, really bright and strong colours. So you want to have a nice amount of water, make a nice puddle on your palette, and then you can begin. So you can start wherever you want to start. It really doesn't matter. The only thing you want to avoid doing is smudging your work with your hand on the table or on an easel. So you could start with the top and work your way down. I'm going to start with the heart here because by the time I get to the bottom of the heart, it will probably be dry. So I'm going to start with the heart here. So I'm just going to paint my colour straight on there. Now I'm going to leave a little bit of space with my red. So I'm not going to paint the whole thing red, because what I want to do is get in another colour, like blue, and let that, if I dab it in, it will bleed, which means it kind of spreads and creates that lovely purple effect, because the two colours have mixed. Now because I'm going vertically, I'm just going to suck up with a dry brush some of my colour at the bottom here. You don't need to do this, you can just let it sit. So just let it bleed in, so it will kind of like fill, the colours will fill on each side and turn a different colour, which is really pretty. So you're just going to fill each space. Nice. Make sure you're not leaving any white paper in there. Different reds, pinks, blues. But just try and work top to bottom and stick to a couple of colours for the heart and then different colours for the background, because otherwise you'll lose your heart in the background and you don't want to do that. Just going to grab some kitchen roll. Sorry, I'm not leaving you. Isla's in charge.
Oh, that's lovely.
Sorry, I'm just going to grab some kitchen roll for me, but only because I don't want mine to drip everywhere. You probably won't need to do this. No, Fruit and fizzy. So can you see how the colours are kind of bled into each other? So just have a play with it. See how the watercolour responds. See how it reacts when you add two colours and let it bleed into each other. It's called bleeding. Can you see that kind of graduated look? That's lovely. And keep going. So I'm gonna stick to reds and blues. Filling our space up as we go. Dropping in some colour. And letting it do its own thing. Watercolour is very free. It's very kind of, it's very fun. It's nice and loose.
I'm letting it go to the other side.
Yeah, you can kind of dot your colour in.
Yeah, I'm getting like some water and then putting it over the pastel to make it like bleed into the pastel so you can't see any.
So just drop your colour in. Yes, exactly. We don't want to see lots of white bits. So just enjoy watching the colours mix. You can create really nice deep colours of your stained glass, or you can do soft colours. And don't worry if they run a little bit. Mine's starting to run. I like that. Just drop them all in there. Like that, and just keep going. They'll look lovely when they're done. They'll look really, really nice. So I'm going to keep going on. So I'm literally, all I'm doing is swapping between red and blue. And hopefully you haven't, if you've used enough water, you won't get that scratchy look, that dry look. I just flicked. I have like a fountain of water. You'll get a really nice deep colour if you use the right amount of water. But that's why it's called watercolour, because we're using water
and colour.
And the colour, yeah, exactly. Oh, just went over a bit. Let's get rid of that. So lots of nice water. Now, if you feel like there's too much water and it's running and swimming on your paper, then a really good way is to grab some kitchen paper or some tissue or whatever you've got, an old rag, and blot your paper so that it will lift that water off. So if you feel like you've used too much water and it's running everywhere and you don't want it to, then grab some paper, or the other option is have a really dry brush, really, really dry, being careful not to damage your nice bristles of your brush, and you can use that to suck up colour or to suck up water that you don't want. Okay?
Oh, wait a minute.
I'm just going to keep flicking at me. Myself keeps getting me.
I wonder why.
I keep having to be close because I'm doing it not on the table. So I'm just going to keep working. Watercolour is lots and lots of fun.
Yeah.
So I'm going to fill that one. So this, I'm going to do this one a little bit differently. So I filled the whole of that one like that. Oh, I can't wait, Beth, either to get back to. I would feel like enlisting Will into my life drawing at the minute. It's just I'm really missing drawing. I'm not doing enough of it. We will be back soon. I really hope. Oh, hi Emma. Hope you're okay. Hope Gio's okay too. Who else? Yeah, Gio's on there. And Alice. Hi Joe and Alice. A really nice relaxed one today. Just enjoy painting. Once you've got your heart shape, you can just fill and just try and get those nice bleeding, those colours to bleed into each other and just disperse. It's really fun to watch. So here I did a whole one of red, and I'm just going to now dab blue to create purple where I want it to go, like so. And we just keep going like that. And so it's very, very chilled today. Now next week we are here. It might be half term, but we are still painting in the studio, aren't we?
Yeah.
We're going to look at some portraits. So perfect time. You could do portrait. You could use the techniques that I show you next week to draw or paint portraits of your family or of your friends. You could get your family to sit still.
And you can draw them.
Yeah, just like we do, just like me and Beth were talking about. It'd be nice to be able to draw each other from life if you want to. But I'm just going to go through the basics of how to construct a face and where the positions of everything is. So if you want to improve your portraiture and draw people, we are doing that next week. And also for all the adults and children, if they'd like to join in with their parents, but it's more it's a little bit of an advanced class, is going to start on Monday. So Monday we are painting with coffee. I'm going to paint with coffee next week. My paintbrushes at home all smell of coffee, having practiced tone. So if you fancy joining us next week for a kind of advanced class, as I say, children, you are very welcome to join, but it will be focused quite heavily on technique and tone and looking at value, but we're going to be painting with coffee. Nice cheap resource. Well, if you have coffee at home, that is. So
And you don't have to go
you don't
out
need
to
expensive
shops.
coffee.
You don't need to go out to the shops to get some paint and stuff.
No. So I am popping. Hello. So we've got a friend coming to click and collect some art supplies. We are, and on that note, we are selling some lovely sending love Valentines, but they don't have to be Valentines pottery. We've got this frame here, which you could paint. A lovely frame, which you could paint for somebody and put a photo in. Or we've got a nice heart tea light holder, perfect for a Valentine's night. we're selling those kits, and you still have time. Some out for delivery tomorrow. Catherine from the Mad Hatters is doing some lovely shortbread hearts and chocolate brownies. So and they're just £1.50 for a bag. So if you'd like to buy anything, just message me. You don't have to go through the website. Just message me, and I will try and get them to you tomorrow, or I will definitely get them to you before Sunday. Yeah, I have lots of coffee, and I certainly didn't use my best coffee, Emma, for my painting. I just used instant granules. You could actually, talking of which, if you don't have coffee, you could use gravy granules as well. That would work. That would work too. Oh, sorry, Pip. So I've nearly finished my heart.
I'm doing the water bleeding, like where you just put water underneath and
Oh, Isla's doing a different technique.
on the outside.
Shall I show everyone that technique?
Yeah.
Okay, so the technique Isla's doing is what's called wet in wet. Okay, and the reason it's called wet in wet is because you start on your paintbrush with no paint, just water, so just wet. You fill a space with that wet. So, for example, I could fill this just with water. So you won't be able to see it because it's just water. This is another watercolour technique. So there's the wet. And then what Isla's doing is she's then picked up some colour and she's dropped it in.
And then you can put another colour in and it
like that, and it really bleeds then and goes everywhere. But it will hold its shape because the tension of the water, a bit of science now with art, the tension in the water will hold it. Maybe not so well when it's vertical, but it will hold it. And then you can drop another colour in if you want to.
I put it in on the outside instead of on the heart.
You can see it creates a different effect. It's certainly more mottled and it's slightly different, but it's still a nice effect. So today, I'm just going to add a bit of water to that just to help it spread. Today, the only thing that could go wrong is losing your lovely heart in the background. So really trying to stick to a couple of colours in the centre of the heart and then a couple of colours on the border, on the background, sorry. Right, I'm nearly done. My heart.
I'm already done with my heart.
Have you finished that? That's really good.
Yeah.
But if you want to, you could do several of these. You could play around with the colours choices. You don't have to choose reds. You don't even have to do a heart if you don't want to. You don't have to do a heart shape.
A star.
You could do a star. That's a lovely idea. You could do any stained glass. A tree would work. And just remember, whatever the shape is, keep it simple to start with. Just draw it really basic, nice and simple, nice and big and bold, and then split it all up into sections like what would happen on a stained glass.
You could do someone's name.
Yes, somebody's name would be a great idea.
So
So this is kind of our Valentine's special because we're all loved up this weekend only. I hope Will didn't hear that. And then, but you could apply this to anything. For those teachers out there that like to watch, you could teach history, do history and things like that through this as well, because obviously stained glass has been used in religion and retelling history in picture form for absolutely ages. So there's my heart. I'm pleased with that. Got lots of nice patterns and things going on there. And now I'm going to move on to my background. So with the background, I'm just going to choose two contrasting colours. two colours, but that won't make my heart vanish. For what I mean by that is if I start to do red and blue on these sections, we're going to lose the heart. So I'm going to go for a completely different colour. I think I'm going to go for greens and yellows.
I'm doing lots of different
Isla's
colours.
got greens. That's nice, Isla. So let's have a go.
And
I'm going to use
red.
ochre because you'll see it better on the camera. So I'm using like a dirty yellow rather than a bright yellow. And again, I'm starting top and working my way downwards to the bottom of the picture. You could definitely make lovely cards out of these, either by cutting them out, doing smaller ones.
I think I'm going to do bleeding up top with the water and stuff, and then I'm going to do just normal, like not coloured together at the bottom wearing.
That's a nice idea.
So I'm mixing like that here, then that.
Yeah, careful you don't smudge. Yeah, that sounds good. So really getting that depth of colour. Oh, hi Jenny. I don't know whether Amelia is watching today or whether she's got lots of home school to do, but hello. Hi Amelia, if you're watching. Oh, I haven't used enough water, and I can tell because my paint is kind of dragging a little bit. I'm going to add exactly what I told you all not to do. There we go, that's better. And add a little bit of green in there just for a bit of interest. And let that bleed in a little bit. There we go. And just getting some green around the corner. So yes, I'm looking forward to starting a new adult art class. I can't wait to open again. Hopefully it won't be too much longer, but we're not sure. But the classes will continue. The children's classes will certainly continue while the children are off, well, some of the children are off school. And then, but the adults classes that I'm starting on Monday next week, they will continue every Monday at 1 o'clock. Hi Michelle. Shelley's on there. Oh, I miss you. I'm really missing people. It's, you know, got to that point now. I think it has for everyone. Izzy might like doing this if she's free and fancies getting a bit creative. So as you can see, I'm just working top to bottom, letting my paint bleed into each other in each section. The only thing with the adult class on Monday, sorry, I'm thinking about it, that's why I keep talking about it. I haven't decided how to do it yet because doing it like this is really difficult, doing it vertically. So I need an overhead camera. And the only way of me doing that at the moment is through Zoom. But the classes are still completely free and I'm not charging. It's just getting art out there for people, making them feel better. Oh, and thank you ever so much for the lovely donations. We had lots of donations last week and we really appreciate it. So thank you very much. And if you'd like to donate for the classes, then there is a PayPal link in the description of the class. But you don't have to. Otherwise, just enjoy and come and see us when we're open again. I'm going to use your technique, Isla, for this large area here. I'm going to put lots of water on, so I'm going to do the wet in wet technique for this large section. So I've got lots of water. I'll let that soak into the paper a little bit, and then I'm going to drop in my colours and let them flow into that water that I've created space for. Get this lovely stained glass effect. It's looking so nice. I can't show you Isla's today at the minute. I have to show you after, once it's all dry, because she's got it all masked down on the paper there.
Yeah. Should have done it on the board or something.
Yeah, we could have done it on a board. We'll have to remember that next time, won't we?
Yeah.
Oh, hi Lorna. Hope you and your mum are well. Cheryl. Hello. Oh, it's so nice to find people on here. It feels a little bit weird when I'm like, I know you're watching, but it's lovely. It's lovely to have you on here.
I feel like a Lorna, your friend.
The kids would love this, Lorna, if you fancy having a go. If you've got some watercolours around. This is a really large area at the bottom here, so I'm having to use quite a lot of water just to get my paint flowing in there. And you can see actually, because I haven't masked down the bottom, this bottom section. So my paper is just, I don't know whether you can see, but it's puckering a little bit. It's just lifting and curling. Whereas Isla's is pretty much flat. It won't stop it completely, but it will really, really help. So I'm nearly done. My 2 more sections here to go.
I'm done.
You're all done, are you? I'm going to try and show everyone.
After I took the sellotape off, or the masking.
So yeah, next week we are live twice. Monday and Wednesday. So we are here in half term.
And the top tips.
And we've got some top tips. We do some painters top tips on Instagram. So if ever you want to, if you're a beginner artist and you're like, oh, what brushes shall I use, or how do I do this? Then we do top tips every week. So you can follow us on Insta.
There we go.
Okay, and my last area, this is quite large. I'm just going to bring some water in there just to bring it down. Nearly there. Don't worry about the direction of your brush for this one today, because you want it to be like glass. You want it as if there's light coming through it, which is all a bit mottled, and I think I might just deepen that colour a little bit at the bottom here. So you can always layer your watercolour as well. If you feel like it's not dark enough, you can always put an extra layer over the top. And voila! Let me show you Isla's lovely one today. There you go. Isla's stained glass heart. And that's what's lovely about the masking tape, is when you take it off carefully, if it's ripping your paper, just grab a hairdryer and blow it a little bit to heat up the glue. But take off the masking tape and you get this lovely border. So you're going to send that to me this weekend?
Might. Can't tell you yet.
Can't tell me yet. Oh, now I've mentioned the pottery's all done. And I'm done. I hope you've had fun. And say it's a nice, bright, easy one today. I hope you've had lots of fun. And we will see you next week for portraiture. You will definitely be needing a pencil. You'll definitely need a ruler as well, and just some paper. And then I'm probably, that's it. But I'll send out a message to everyone so that you know what resources you need. Thank you ever so much for watching. Have a lovely time in the remaining of the snow, although it is going a little bit.
Yeah.
Take care. Have a good week, everybody.